Is anxiety recovery a scam? Is it actually possible to fully overcome these physical symptoms, these intrusive thoughts, these feelings of unreality, derealization, depersonalization, these emotions? Or is it a way for someone to try to sell you something? Is there a way really out, or is this just something that you have to manage, that you just have to cope with? Is this a chemical imbalance? These are the questions I had years ago when I fell into the cycle. When I started experiencing anxiety, when I was having these physical symptoms that convinced me there was something seriously wrong and I kept going to doctors, I got these feelings of unreality. I was getting panic attacks repeatedly daily. I was just asking myself, is there a way out? I had some people that say, no, there's no way out, and that would absolutely terrify me. And then I heard people say, yeah, it is possible, and then they would try to sell me something. In this video, I really want to break it down. I truly want to tell you, as someone who used to suffer, genuinely what the truth is anxiety recovery possible, so that you can at least get some peace of mind and at least focus on the right steps. So pay attention. So it was really interesting during my anxiety recovery. During each stage of my recovery journey, I had a different fear. So my first fear was, can I even get out of this? Can I even feel even remotely better? Am I even going to be able to make these symptoms go away, these panic attacks go away? Or am I always going to be handicapped with this idea of anytime I go somewhere, what happens if my anxiety flares up? What happens if I get a panic attack? What if I get intrusive thoughts? What if I do something with these thoughts? You can understand, as someone who's struggling with anxiety, the scary things that can happen if you're out on your own. One of my biggest fears was, do these symptoms even get better? I didn't even know if recovery was possible. My main focus was, does it even get better? Now, what happened was I realized that the symptoms actually do get better. Once you focus on the right steps, they actually do end up getting better. But then my next fear, ironically, was, well, what happens if I hit a glass ceiling? And so what happens if my symptoms get good to a certain level, but then it doesn't get better than that? What happens if if this is something I just have to manage, if I just have to cope with? And it's really sad to see a lot of anxiety sufferers, because I know they're trying to find the answer. And you would think with the internet, with Google, with YouTube, that more information would be better. But the truth is that what actually ends up happening is the opposite. You actually end up getting more misinformation. You get more conflicting information. And so you're asking yourself, can I get out of this? Is this something that I can truly overcome? Or, I'm reading about this and people are saying this can only be managed. You can only cope with this. I want to have you rest assured that what you are experiencing is something you can totally overcome. See, it comes with the idea of the word anxiety. The word anxiety actually doesn't mean that much, right? See, someone who's nervous about, let's say, filming this video is anxious. Or someone that's having physical symptoms, that's having repeat panic attacks, that becomes scared of having another panic attack, is also labeled as struggling with anxiety. So if you can tell, there's a lot of variation. Just saying the word anxiety doesn't mean a lot. And so when I was struggling with anxiety, my fear was, do I even get out of this? Is it even possible? And one of the reasons why I created this channel was to show you that recovery is possible, but the truth is, here's the key. And this is going to sound kind of a little bit unbelievable to you in the moment. You don't need anything to recover. That sounds scary, right? That sounds kind of weird, because it feels like you're already broken. It feels like you're broken. It feels like you need to do something to make this go away. You need to take something. You need to buy something. You need to do some sort of technique to make this go away. I thought the exact same thing. But the truth was, and is, as somebody who has overcome, looking back, recovery comes from within. Now, if recovery comes from within, why doesn't anybody talk about this? Why doesn't anybody talk about the fact that recovery comes from within? Here's the truth. People that are invested in your recovery, it's not that they don't want you to recover. It's just not in their interest to help you recover. Here's what I mean. Let's say you take a supplement that gives anxiety relief. Now, Think about a supplement company that wants you to have freedom from anxiety. If they knew that recovery comes from within, well then what is there to sell you? What's there to market to you? If there's somebody trying to sell anxiety teas, supplements, a breathing technique or a grounding technique, and they want to teach you and they want you to pay, or somebody that wants you to go to talk therapy. If you're going to talk therapy, the main focus about recovery isn't really to overcome, it's just to manage and cope, because if you think about it, that's actually really where the money is. See, if recovery comes from within, then what do you need? You don't need anything. Even I don't need to make these videos if recovery comes from within. But the truth is, not a lot of people talk about that because really there's no money in that. It's kind of weird to say. It's really hard to talk about these kinds of things because when people are struggling with anxiety, you kind of have a natural radar, right? You kind of are skeptical about everybody. You're kind of unsure if they're just trying to take advantage of your suffering. I remember because I experienced the same thing. I bought anything and everything that was considered an anxiety relief, and none of it worked. Naturally, I became skeptical. And even more dangerously, I actually thought that maybe recovery wasn't even possible. That wasn't true. The truth is that recovery just came from within. I just didn't know how. I didn't understand what was happening. If I just understood what was happening and recognized that I didn't need any of these things, I didn't need breathing techniques, I didn't need grounding techniques, anxiety teas, supplements, stress balls, whatever anxiety contraption you see out there, if I didn't need any of those things and recovery came from within, I would have gotten out of it so much faster and I wouldn't have needed anything. But what ended up happening was I ended up spending a lot of money. So really, to understand how recovery looks like, you really have to understand the mechanics of anxiety first. You need to understand what's even happening first and foremost. Why are you experiencing these symptoms? And no, it's not because of some trauma or something that happened in the past or genetics or anything like that. It's really understanding a few things that's happening physiologically. Once you understand what's happening, the focus is on, well, what's the solution to get out? So if you really want to know more about how to get out, what I'll do is I'll put a link down below, a link to it's a free report. It's a report. Essentially what I've done is I've recognized that the way to really help people get out of it is by kind of writing it out for them. And so what I've done is I've written out a report showing you step by step how recovery looks like, what to anticipate, and what to do. Now, in the report, I'm not telling you to go buy these things, do this, do that, invest in this, invest in that, none of those things. The main focus is on understanding the principles of anxiety. Now, here's the other thing. This report is absolutely free. I'm not even charging for this report. This report is for you. Why have I written this report? Well, look, I've been in your shoes. I've been there. I've been someone who's been taken advantage of, spending a bunch of money only to get no relief. And if I just understood what was happening, well, it would have made my recovery journey so much more faster, with a lot less suffering. And so I want you to have this just because I personally feel that if this is something you've managed to come out of, you kind of have a responsibility to help other people. So the link is down below. It's absolutely free. This is for you. Reread it multiple times. Really understand what I'm talking about here, how to focus on full freedom. So the main key is this: recovery is not a scam. It is fully possible to overcome these symptoms once and for all and never struggle with anxiety again and live freely. Live freely like anybody else who has never experienced anxiety. My personal opinion, helping people around the world, genuinely, and I genuinely mean this, and I wasn't sure when I first started doing this, but the more I've done it, the more I've seen. People that come out of this, I've personally found they're even braver. They're actually more brave than people that have never fallen into this. Now that sounds so nuts to you, right? Because you may have lost your confidence, you have lost faith in your own body and your own mind. To feel like A, recovery is even possible, but B, you could be a better person, seems so far-fetched. But let me tell you, I'm in a very unique position. See, you're only used to seeing people that struggle. You're used to seeing people on forums only, or trying to Google search about these symptoms and only seeing people manage, struggling with this for such a long time, probably even longer than you. And so it's very easy for you to think that this is a life sentence. But I've seen those people and I've seen people fully overcome because I help people overcome. So I've seen both sides. So I have a very unique vantage point. And the truth is that once people overcome this, once people come out of this, they actually not only are stronger people, but they never fall back into the cycle again because they understand what's happening. They will make sure it never happens again. See, the truth is that if you knew how to get out of this, you would make sure this goes away. I believe you. That's true. So once you come out, you know exactly what made you fall back in. And once you come out, you'll never, ever fall back in. And look, there's people around the world that have recovered. The only difference is that you don't see them on forums. Where are you going to go search for them? The truth is that once people recover, anxiety is something of the past, and then they just go on living. They're not going to be on these forums that you're looking at. They're not on anxiety forums. They're not asking on Reddit forums or you name it, trying to ask, they've already recovered. They're having fun with their friends. They're having fun with their family. Anxiety is part of the past. I mean, think about it for you. Let's say you're a healthy individual that doesn't have diabetes. Would you be on a diabetic forum? Would you be on a forum trying to understand, how this works or about diabetes? No, why? It's not a problem for you anymore, right? So if it's not a problem, you're not going to be on these forums. But the truth is that you're only looking at forums where people are still having the problem. Once they come out of this, this is no longer a problem. So here's the key. Recovery really does come from within. But what I have personally genuinely found is having someone guide you step by step through recovery. I've been in your shoes. And one of the things I really wish I would have had was someone who really understood what was happening, would have just guided me through the process. Recovery was so complicated for me. I didn't know what to believe because I had read so many things on the internet. If I had just met somebody who had gone through this, who had helped other people come out of this, just show me step by step. Just take me by the hand for a little bit and help me get out. Now, the goal should be not for you to rely on this person long term, just enough to build momentum till you become your own guide. So if that's you, and if you're really trying to get out, well, why don't I just take you by the hand and just take you to recovery myself? Not to try to sell you something, not trying to make you a product of something or sell you a product, for you to become your own guide, for you to get out of this once and for all. Go back to living, not relying on anything or anyone, including myself. Just showing you a few things, guiding you, and just showing you the roadmap of recovery. And really monitoring your progress too, making sure this is actually going away. Once this is good, not relying on anything, not watching my videos, not watching other people's videos, not going on these forums, just going back to living, just enjoying yourself and really focusing on your dreams, on your passions. What kind of life do you want to have by design? So if that's you, click the link down below. I have a mentorship program. This is a small group of individuals that I'm personally taking by the hand. I'm taking them to full recovery. Full recovery. I'm with them every step of the way. I don't let them go until I personally feel that they're in a good place where they're going to be free and they also feel that anxiety is part of the past. So if that's you, hit the link down below. When you hit the link, there's an application. My team and I will review that application, and if you're a good fit, we'll have a free strategy session. Now, I got to be fully transparent here. Most of the people that apply, we cancel their applications. We're very specific on the individuals that we work with. We don't care about coping. We don't care about managing. We're not interested in you trying to learn some breathing technique or relying on a supplement. If you're focused on recovery, if you're working with me, the goal is full freedom, not relying on anyone, not even me. So if that's you, if you really want to become free of this, get out of this, become your own guide, hit the link down below, fill out the application. And if you're a good fit, my team and I will personally have a free strategy session with you, really understanding your biggest struggles, what are your biggest roadblocks, and if you're a good fit, I'll personally take you underneath my wing and I will guide you to recovery, get you out of this once and for all so you can go on to living. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.